Hi, my name is Rebecca. I'm a senior. I'm involved in EPIIC this year through inquiry.
Hi, my name is Sookrit. I'm a freshman. I'm involved in EPIIC, and because of that, I'm in inquiry too.
So to prepare for this year's, I don't know what to call it, a reenactment or what? Simulation. We researched privately. We're on the Turkey delegation and the media committee. So we researched privately through the documents provided through our EPIIC class.
Basically, what we did undertake is we had Carnegie Foundation's research papers. We also paid a considerable amount of attention to the crisis group and using them. And then, since we were in media, we had to undertake a significant amount of research on Facebook, around Twitter analytics to actually understand the trends in media. And that was a primary amount of work that we did. Other than that, we also kind of created documents. Like you worked more on that part.
Yeah.
So
collaborative document.
Yeah. So initially, we basically did all our research and then made a collaborative document, basically describing all the stances of the countries and how to basically implement the policy that they represent as countries.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of our committee meetings, I think we're running into a little bit of a conflict now in terms of what I think students think are realistic, time realistic goals, and kind of goals you can achieve within international laws and sovereignty realities. I don't know.
Yeah, it's extremely hard for high school students, especially, to fathom the nuances of international diplomacy, especially the fact that relations between countries are extremely nuanced because of their ethnic identities, economic cooperation, which is why countries which may be allies are sometimes have significantly different opinions on subjects, which is something that they have a problem grasping. But that's very understandable because the amount of depth that EPIIC allowed us to go into while we researched is very different from the amount of depth that they could have gone into while they researched in their high school. So there is evidently a significant amount of difference in what we think they should be talking about as far as policy goes. But it's understandable because that evident gap would exist, and I feel that's where we come in as mentors and chairs. We help them understand the difference and cope with the gap. I'd say we started off with more of a problematic uh, policy because they didn't actually understand these nuances, but as our delegations meetings proceeded, now they're doing much better and they actually are representing the policy quite accurately, to my surprise.
I think there's been just a hard, as you said, a gap, a difference in terms of what their natural instincts and common sense would be in terms of responding to these problems, which is completely valid, but it's our job kind of to remind them they're from the context that they're speaking from, that if they're too off their policy, then it's just not really realistic at all, and within the bounds of kind of their historical alignments, there's only so far they can stray. So it's hard for them to kind of to balance their own personal viewpoints with what actually probably would be their stance. So I think it's a good practice in terms of realizing kind of the limits of diplomacy and the insanity, I think, of the process.
That's I think very understandable. Like, since everybody has been to an American high school and they've had a certain level of ethics and a certain way they've understood conventional arguments of democracy and of what is unethical, so as to say, they find it hard to support countries which have stances which are extremely different to the subject, which is extremely understandable, but that obviously makes the debate very different than what it should be.
Right.
Yeah, that I agree with is an evident problem in the subject.
So one, I think, interesting incident within our committee that happened, actually while Sookrit was gone for about 10 minutes, was that the internal Iraqi parties unanimously, besides one actually, and the international parties agreed upon a ban of social media, which we think is highly extreme. So we're going back to caucusing now.
Like, I left for 10 minutes and they banned social media completely. Like,
Yeah.
there are countries like the United States who stand for freedom of speech, and like,
In their defense, they abstained.
yeah, but they literally thought that it's a good idea to ban all social media till the elections, which one is not possible to do, and two, like, no international organization would do. But that was a little crazy. We're coming back. We're coming back slowly, but yeah, we
But it
have
happened.
that
It
did
happened.
happen.